We are live.
Lovely. Okay, so good evening, Alex and Nemanje, and whoever is listening to this audio at some point. So many blessings to all of you for joining us. So we have another Tuesday evening of a Dhamma discussion. So today we're going to talk a little bit about, which is quite I think appropriate with what I was speaking to Neman about before we started our Dhamma discussion today, about practicing and the results of it. And a lot of the time, I get questions from people to say, "Oh, I don't feel like meditating. I used to meditate for like hours, and now I can only meditate for a few minutes." I feel that, so I kind of feel guilty that I'm not sitting for a long time, and what am I kind of losing my ability to meditate? So many questions like that. Yeah, and I'm sure both Nemanja and Alex, you both experienced that, right, in your practice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so it happens to all of us. Yeah, exactly. So I get yes from both. All right, so it happens to all of us. So the simple thing is, this body doesn't belong to us, as you all know. It's conditioned by the external forces, if for a better word, and also our thinking patterns, which is again influenced by, one of the influencing aspects is our environment, isn't it? Yeah. And so, as you all know, everything that from the start of our, what we call this, say very simply, start of this life, there are four things that affects every moment of this existence. One is our karma, one is the environment. In Pali is itu, and environment means many, many things, not just like where you live, like your family, your friends, colleagues, the place you live, um, uh, the weather patterns, many things, and all. Then the ahara, which is the perceptions through your senses, uh, your external senses, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and then your thinking process, your thought patterns. So they all work together to affect the way we are every moment. So sometimes, especially in more in the lay life than more in the monastic life, because in monastic life we have much more kind of a, you know on a broader scale, quite a simple way of living, and we don't have to obviously go to work, earn money, pay bills to a certain level, and we don't have family to think about, and so the responsibilities are a lot less. So whereas in lay life you have a lot more responsibilities, and then so that can affect the way you think, and technically how you feel, isn't it? So then it's going to affect your practice. So especially what we say in practice, one of the practices is sitting and observing, the breath or the body. And if you feel very tired, it's very hard to do that. Yeah. And that is why we practice things like walking meditation, because that's easier to do, and also it's like it helps to calm the system down by slowly walking. So I'm sure, Alex and Eman, you've experienced that in your practice. So before you sit, if you start doing some walking meditation first, it helps the body to just kind of on a cellular level to become a lot more calmer in its resonance. So when you sit, your mind will start to be a lot more easier to come into like a calmness and more into focus. Yeah, agree? Any questions so far?
That's fair. That's good.
Yeah. Okay. Mhm.
Everything understood.
Great. Okay. So the skill is to, especially when you have when you have, if I say this to people who are like people who are not monastics. Okay, so it does apply to monastics as well on a slightly different level, but let's keep it simple. So the skill is to have disciplined in your lifestyle. Okay, not to be like to say no. I have to get up at exactly 8:30 in the morning, and I have to brush my teeth. I have to be ready for 9 o'clock. No, it's not like that. You have obviously a certain flow for the day, but you have to have a discipline where you have a discipline in the sense of, say, you wake up in the morning, you make your bed, you get ready, and then you would especially if you're practicing uh, through the Buddhist teachings, I always recommend. And obviously this is not just through knowledge, this is through my own practice, is start with having a little bit of you know time, like to rest and just be still in the morning before you start your day. Take your precepts, take your 5 precepts. Yeah, do some reflection of the qualities of the Buddha, because that then you're starting your day with a mind which is with less greed, hatred, and delusion, and also you're starting with a much more calmer mind. Okay, and then if it's a day that you have to work, then you would have your plan for the day, isn't it? Like things you have to, goals you have to achieve. So obviously within your capabilities, you do the best you can, and that's it. Yeah. So uh, and always, like the time that you're working, put your attention to what you're doing, and try not to procrastinate. Try not to think of other things as much as you can. Just put your best effort to your job, and that way you will do your best at the end of the day. And also learn to take rests every few say for instance, if you work at a desk with a computer, at least every hour, just stand up, just stretch your legs, 5 minute break, drink some water, just give the system a little bit of uh, time out. Because when you sit, your muscles are very tense, because you're holding a posture for a long time, and it's not like a natural posture for us to sit on a chair. So you put a lot of pressure on your back, and also you're focusing onto a screen, so you're using a lot of your eyesight. You're not blinking enough, so your eyes can become dehydrated, which then again affects the rest of your nervous system, right? Because many things get affected by many things. Everything's always working together. So if there's an imbalance of something, there will be an imbalance of another part of your body. Yeah. And there's also this research shows that if you have something green, like a little plant or something next to your screen, and every maybe 20 minutes you look at it, it helps you to relax your eyes, and you blink more as well, which will keep your eyes moist, and help them to be in a more natural state. So because like I said before, remember, this body doesn't belong to us, but we have to look after it to the best of our ability. Yeah, and when we are kind to it, it it it's we will get rewards from it. Yeah. um, and then obviously eat at a right time and not to overeat. Obviously do exercise where you system, it has a nervous system, it has lymph system, which all needs movement in order for it to work more efficiently. So incorporate that into your daily routine. So we're all different, even though we all kind of the standard mold is the same, of one head, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a trunk. Uh, we all are on a cellular level. There's a lot of differences, and different people need different ways. Say, some people need more sleep, some people need less sleep, some people need certain foods, whereas some people need different foods. So things like that. But by being skillful, by observing your body, you see how your body responds to something that you do. Yeah. And then you, if something is good, if something gives you a positive result, then you basically use that to help yourself to keep this body what we call healthy, and also for it to be in a much more of a state of calmness on a cellular level, and then that helps to calm the mind. Yeah. Any questions or any feedback at this time?
It all makes sense.
Yep,
Yeah.
makes sense also for me. I would
Yeah.
say that for the end.
Yes, and I remember things with Alex and I spoke, I think, a few weeks ago about how, like a lot of people sit, they say, oh, my mind is running, I need to calm it down. So they just sit, they just try to sit still, but their mind is all over the place because naturally they haven't cultivated their bodily actions for it to, like I said before, on a cellular level, their cells are in a, like on a, what we call a high resonance, so fast resonance. So they haven't done the work to calm it down. So no matter how hard they try to sit for hours, they're just going to really kind of fighting the sitting, and they're not going to achieve results. Yeah. So it's not about how long you sit to practice, it's like the quality of your sitting. Because sometimes, when you actually cultivate this, what we call bhavana in the teachings, cultivation of your bodily functions, your verbal functions, your mental functions, you find as when you have, you're deepening your practice through this cultivating, you sit, and as soon as you sit, you will get into a state of calmness in your mind, right? You don't even have to reflect on the qualities of the Buddha. You don't have to observe the breath in out and observe the stages of it. Your mind will naturally become instantly calm. But that's true practice. Yeah. But the the key is to start from outside in. So keep your physical body healthy, to the best of your ability. Give it rest, give it the right food. Yeah. Be kind to it. Don't push yourself, beyond limits. And then obviously through your verbal actions, you only speak when necessary, speaking kind words, not speaking words which are harsh. Yeah. And pretty much very simply the five precepts. Yeah, if you really practice, observe and practice that, uh, it helps you to cultivate this what we call bhavana. So Alex, you have your hand up. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So thank you for this. Um, so I'm contemplating my life and my challenge when it comes relates to this topic of today. So I like how you simplify. You simplified life. One thing I've observed. So you wake up, you make your bed, you take care of your body. When you do the work, you focus on the work, and you own that day, and you simplify the day. I really like that. Sometimes in our life, there comes external obligations, like a lot of things call to you. Let's say parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters. Then you feel sometimes stretched to the limits, to your limits, and that's also making your mind a little bit, or your body is tired, so you're also tired. So it is like stretching beyond what you can actually do. Sometimes stretching me at least beyond what I can actually do. So helping, for example, a sick parent or grandparent, and maybe somebody else. So that also causes maybe distress in the body and the mind. So it's really harder to make that peaceful state.
Very good point. Yes, it happens to a lot of people. So that's so true. So because what happens is, Alex, is because the way we all, the majority of human beings, like I would, until we this practice helps us to understand and realize things. We're always dependent on someone else to make us feel better, naturally, isn't it? We always depend on the outside world to make us feel better. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the way that is how majority of us are. Yeah. So in your case, yes, your family is, they know you're a calm, peaceful being, and they know you're very helpful, right? So they feel a sense of kind of they feel warm when they are with you, if you know what I mean, warm in their heart, right? So they reach out to you to help them because they're in a state of difficulty. So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Okay, yeah. So we have to, so this is where, so look at it this way. So now this is going to be uh, a time in your life which you have to be wise and say, okay, why is this coming at this time? What can I do to make me more skillful with my current circumstance? Okay, yes, understand?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So basically, so this is the time that you need to really step up with your compassion. Yeah. Practice metta. Yeah.
Hmm.
And not to wish of course, your family as well as all beings to be well and to be wise. Yeah. When people become wise, they start to become more skillful. Remember the 10 perfections, that's a paramita. So
Hmm.
in that, yeah, the panya. So after panya comes virya, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but you can Google it and see. So as wisdom starts to grow, our effort starts to grow, not just in practice, it's a natural process. So what we need to wish people to be well, wish them to be wise, and be skillful to heal themselves through the understanding that if I keep my mind strong, then I will face whatever obstacles comes, and I will try to, I will try. If say someone is sick, I will try to, let my body heal to the best of his ability. Yeah, and also for them to, and also with your family, you can help them to practice like loving kindness to themselves. Yeah, reflect on the good things they have done in their life, because everybody has done good things in their life, right? And I know especially your family, they must have done very, very nice things in their life. So when they reflect on that, yeah, then they will feel a sense of like kind of like peace, and kind of feel proud that they've done something good in their life. And it's a form of joy, isn't it? And that's the naturally that will help their cells to heal to a certain level. Yeah.
Yes. One
Mhm.
thing that is unfortunate for me is that I haven't developed the wisdom to the level that. So, for example, I am learning as well, and I'm sometimes trying too much, which is not actually helpful. For example, trying to help that is beyond my ability to do, which is ignorance and lack of wisdom.
No, no, no. So that's okay. So it's a process, Alex. So we can't get to 100% without getting from 1%, right? You have to start at some level, right? So it's a process of growth. So don't say you haven't got the ability. Yes, you have, because this is process of growth. So this is, take this a day at a time. So, you know, slowly, slowly, you practice compassion, you practice loving kindness, you help your family to, you know, reflect on the good things they have done, and you know, to show them that you are there for them. Yeah, but you have time to yourself too, to look after your own health and your sense of, you know, your peace. So you can give people the time, but you need the time for yourself too, because if you don't look after number one, you can't help anyone, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like on the flight, right? They say put your mask on first before you give it to put it on the other person. Even if it's a mother and a child, the mother has to put it on first, because if she doesn't, she's going to obviously, you know, kind of faint or whatever without oxygen, and then let's see, hopefully worst thing doesn't happen. But so the child is then, they have no one to help them. Yeah, so we have to do, you know, we have to look after ourselves first before we can look after others. Yeah. So
Yes.
far, so good. Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. Yeah. So, you know, like I said, just never say that you are not able to do something or you're not good enough, because it's really taking time out to see, okay, what is life teaching me now? This is a lesson. It's teaching me something, and I need to really look at it and say, how can I use this as a way for me to grow? Yeah, there is I don't know if you both of you know the story of Patachara in the Buddhist teachings.
I don't think I'm familiar with it.
No,
Me neither from the title.
okay. Patachara was a very wealthy. She was like a daughter of a very wealthy family, and she was, I think she was due to get married to some wealthy person, but she fell in love with this guy who was like very poor, and obviously they went, and I think they lived, you know, they weren't very, like, they were pretty poor basically, and they lived in like the forest or something. And then she became pregnant, and she wanted to go and see her parents, and for some reason it just, they couldn't do it. You know, things happen, and maybe difficulties in traveling, because those days, you know, this is like long time ago, people had to go through the forest and stuff like that. They didn't have highways or cars, right? Anyway, then they had their second child. Again, she couldn't go and see the parents. They had their third child, couldn't go and see the parents. But and then she said, she told her husband, "Look, we really need to go. We have three kids now. I really must go and see my parents. You know, they're getting old as well." So they set off, apparently, and then they, uh, as they're like walking through the forest, and you know, there's like rivers and stuff like that. Um, the I think the father goes to get some food or something, right? So please don't quote me, because I'm trying to give you the gist of the story, right? So sometimes some information may not always be accurate. Uh, and then the father gets dusted by a snake, a cobra, and he dies. So this is Patachara's husband. Okay. So, and she now, obviously, she doesn't know this has happened. Um, so she has the three kids by herself now. She's like looking for a husband. He's not there. Then they go towards a river, and now the water is really high, and she has to cross the river. And these are like three very young children. One is like a wee baby, and she's carrying the baby. And so the Patachara tells her son, "Okay, you cross the river." He's probably like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, and so he crosses the river and goes to the other side. and then she holds on to then I think the second son. Now she's walking with the second son and the baby through the river. They're trying to cross the river, and the second son gets the first son gets taken away by an eagle, apparently, and then the second son crosses the river, goes to the other side, and now Patachara has the baby in her hand, and but I think the water gets very, very high, and she starts waving at the little boy to say, just stay there, don't come back into the water. But I think he kind of thinks, oh, mom is saying for me to come back into the water, and he goes back into the water, and he gets like washed away by the currents. Okay, and then she loses her baby too into the water, right? So now she lost her whole family, and she's like a crazy woman, and she's lost all her clothes, and she goes apparently walking, and there's the sermon the Buddha is teaching, and she walks into this hall where there's like obviously monks and nuns and the Buddha's teaching, and this lady, she was like obviously screaming, crying. She has no clothes, and then one of the nuns like gives her a robe, and she goes to the Buddha, and obviously the Buddha knows what's happened, and they apparently the story is they try to wash her feet. Yeah, so that is normally what people do first, is wash someone's feet as they come into a building. So the story is, as the water washed her feet and it was like draining through the ground, she attained Sotapanna, stream entry, right? Due to the calming effects of how she was so traumatized, and suddenly this water uh, just gave her some kind of a calmness. I think it's obviously through her samsaric practice. She has brought this. But the moral of the story is, sometimes you can things that can happen that are really, really what we call drastic and really horrible, but something good can come out of it. So she became enlightened. She was a nun. She became a nun, and then she became enlightened. I think she was a nun with I think the highest wisdom or something like that. She was a became a very famous nun. So it's like, especially when good things always happening to us, we feel very complacent. We're like, oh, life is good. This is, I don't need to think about anything. Whereas when things go wrong, what we think is going wrong, which is not going according to our plans, or things that can disturb us, then a lot of the time people try to use outside, uh, use the outside to try to get comfort, isn't it? People go into drugs, people go to do gambling, people harm themselves, right? Many, many things, as you know. Yeah. But the skill is to see, okay, what, this has happened because there's a reason behind this. And I need to step back and see, okay, why is this happening? What is teaching me a lesson? Especially being, Buddhist practitioners, we know that our past actions have results now, isn't it? So something that we have done in the past has caused a reaction now, but that reaction can be taken to make ourselves better if we are skillful. Do you understand? Sorry, it's a bit of a long story.
No, totally, and good story. So the moral of the story, I think, is you can of a even from a bad seemingly catastrophic outside conditions, you can make it. Things can unexpectedly or go for the better. For example, in the story of the nun, and you should apply wisdom, and it's about how you respond, and obviously they have a karma, so there is some responsibility on us, and that's how I understood the story.
Absolutely, it's good. You can read it. I don't know if I. So if you Google the story of Patajara, it's very, like I said, don't quote me exactly on the exact kind of circumstances, but the gist of the story is that she lost everything, and but something good came out of that, right? There's many stories in the Buddhist teachings, like Kitsa Gotami, the lady who lost her child, you know. Um, I think you all know that story too, but you can read up on it. I won't talk because it's just taking too much of the time today. But yeah, so it's like use whatever happens in your life. Um, if you start to take a step back and you look at it with a much more kind of a clear view, right? It helps you to see, okay, this is going to teach me patience, this is going to teach me understanding, this is going to teach me compassion. Yeah, try to get it to teach you all the profitable skills, because as you know, as you progress with your profitable skills, naturally your wisdom arises. Yeah, you lose your sakaya ditti, the sense of self, yeah, and what we call the ego, and uh, so, and it helps you to progress in your practice, to be more profitable in your practice. So as your system starts to become more profitable with the way it's thinking, the way it's physical actions, no problem, Nirvani. And your your verbal actions, then naturally your wisdom arises. So when you're wise, like it's not like you're going to be 100% wise, right? This is a process, but the more wise you become, the more you see a situation, and then you see, okay, this is the best way to handle this, how to respond to it, rather than react to it. Yeah.
Yes.
So you can, try to do that in your, at this time in your life, Alex, and see how, because the more calmer you are, then naturally the more the calmer your environment will be anyway. Because remember, it's the mind is the forerunner, right? What we think we become. We create our worlds, isn't it, to a certain extent? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm. So I had Amra, our friend. She was telling me the other day how she's finding her new environment very hostile, and I said, okay, so go back to basics, practice some metta, because you're probably feeling very unsettled because you're in a new country, you're in a country where people don't speak your language, and it's hard to communicate, so it becomes very frustrating. And so naturally, your system is kind of, not very settled. So you're putting that to your outside world, and people start to resonate with that, and then people become unsettled. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Mm, yeah.
So one of the challenges I had is, for example, my grandpa is like who was used to be very happy. He was the happiest person, like when I was growing up, and now he's like really bad, a really bad place, and sometimes I want to make him feel better, and but I think he's not feeling like he's not responding. So sometimes that's I from my wisdom tells me that I should accept it and obviously practice metta and be undisturbed. But sometimes I'm disturbed, which is probably natural. But
Absolutely, yeah. It's your grandma, sorry, grandfather, they're a big part of your life. So, well, from obviously because I know a little bit about your background. So, grandfather is getting older. So, we all go through a big, like a full cycle, right? So you have to approach him in a way of like with very like compassion to like a little child, right? So be very, very uh, like like open heart and kind of like really talk very gently, very softly, very simple words. And again, like I told you the other day, maybe try and play some games with him or draw something, maybe watch a little video or movie or something together. Just try to make him feel loved as if he was a little child.
that's a good
Yeah,
metaphor.
yeah.
Yes.
But it's amazing how little things work. I mean, recently I had to counsel two young children. Their parents were very concerned because they were addicted to video games, and literally all I did was just spoke to them on their level. Yeah. So I didn't speak to them like an adult. I spoke to them on their level and uh, try to send out that love, that compassion is like, look, we're in this together. I know how you feel. You must be because the parents are busy. They don't have time. They can do is tell the child, don't do this, don't do that. Nobody likes to hear that all the time. And all that little kid, both. Yeah. Go ahead. So all these little kids wanted to, have was like a verbal hug. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
All of
just
us, all of
yeah,
us, all of us love the verbal hug.
yeah, absolutely, right. And then just like just kind of really be cool with them and on their level and say, look, maybe that time, and especially nowadays, kids are very kind of into their uh, gadgets and stuff like that. And then this little boy, one of the little boys, is like, he told me exactly how many hours he spent on playing video games. And then I was like saying, okay, you're so creative, you can kind of you kind of push them to say, okay, every child can write a story, every child can draw a picture, right? So you kind of encourage them, why don't you use that your creativity during that, say, at least 20 minutes of that time to draw a picture, write a story, create something, that can help others. And they transformed very quickly. And the parents are like, wow, I can't believe my child is like hardly playing video games now. They're more into their schoolwork, they're really focusing. So all they needed was that little bit of someone to say, look, I'm here for you. I understand. So you see,
Absolutely, absolutely,
yeah. So you can try that, and it's hard, when people get older, and also especially when they're sick. They know, like, they just feel okay. It's like my time now, and I don't want to go. I don't want to leave my loved ones, and it's very hard for them. So, and the way they express it is because the sadness is expressed as anger. Yeah. So then they become quite aggressive or defensive, and just like children, right? Little, if you watch babies, why did they get angry? because they don't they're either hungry, or they miss their parents, or they're too hot, right? But
That's true.
yeah, if they're comfortable, they will be much more calmer. Please go ahead. Do you have any feedback?
No, I said that that's true. That's true for babies, is because my friend is having a baby, and he was telling me how babies don't have, like, they are pure, like, instinct. Like when they're hungry, they cry. When they're cold, they cry, and they can't deceive you. Like they when they cry, they need something. Either it's they're hungry, cold, too hot, or something.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So see, like going back to our topic of today is like, the system needs to be comfortable. So when the system becomes comfortable, then you can practice. Yeah. So on days that you find that you're not sit, like say, don't worry about the time of sitting, or observe the quality of your practice. And if you feel, yes, if you had to put a time to your practice, say 20 minutes, but I've done a really good practice, I know, I've improved my practice, that is more than okay. So so don't put a time. Just time is not important in the spiritual life. Yeah, it's the quality of the work that is important. So, and again, the more you practice, the more you start to feel more comfortable within yourself, and then you can be more uh, like available to others, in a sense of not giving your own energy, but helping others to be more calm in your presence. Make
Yes,
sense?
yes, yes,
And the more calmer you are in your body and mind, your resonance will be a lot more healing, which means when you wish someone well, that will be like it's like a healing process without medicine. Yeah,
yes. I believe that's true, and I especially believe that more calm we are, is the more likely the other person will become as well. I think that's, we can't say to other, "Hey, be calm," but we are a mess. So that's not congruent. So I completely agree.
absolutely. And it's not like, if you kind of say, for instance, you're making a cup of coffee, right? So you would have the ingredients to make the coffee. You will have your pot. You will have the stove, and you will have the conditions to make the coffee, and you make the coffee, right? But the coffee, you're working with like uh, objects which doesn't have a consciousness, right?
Hmm.
Whereas a human being has a consciousness, so they're much more complicated. So you can give them the physical comfort. Say, for instance, if somebody's sick, you can give them a massage. You can give them a bath. You can give them something to help them to calm their senses. Right? Maybe like nice. Maybe offer give some flowers. Put some flowers by their bedside. Some soft music. Many things. Right? But if the person is not calm within their mind, whatever you try to help them is it'll only touch the surface. Yeah, the person has to start to accept what you give them. Yeah, yeah, and then try to like kind of be open to your help. If not, no matter what you do, you can't help them. So yeah. So that is why I try to get them to, one of the simplest things to do is just get them to reflect on all the good things they have done in their life, because that helps them to be more kind to themselves, at least a starting point. And then, yeah, go ahead.
No, absolutely, and thank you for reminding me of that the other day. I think that's the most practical thing I got is that's a very practical thing, and showing them pictures of the good things they have done. I think that's super practical and useful for everybody, I think.
You know, we all have a journey, and we all have done good things in our life, right? Because we have done good things in our life, that's why we are here as healthy human beings, isn't it? And as you know, that takes a lot of good actions. So, and people, not everybody sees it like that, because we practice with the teachings, we know uh, the the complexities of all this, how the karma and everything else, the outside world, cause and effect, how all of these come together uh, to affect every moment of our life. But not everyone knows that. People just see, oh, there's a me, I see myself in the mirror. This is what I did, this is what I do now, this is probably what I will be doing in the future. Yeah. And everything is like in a box. And we have to get them to see outside the box, look out of the top of the box, and look uh, at, from a different perspective. It's like, okay, that is why we practice gratitude, isn't it? Like so many beings behind everything that we have, and we appreciate everybody that helps us in our life. Because then we start to think, oh, hold on, if there were no trees outside, I can't breathe. And if the sun didn't shine in the morning, my life would not be as it is now. Imagine, like, there are times of complete darkness, isn't it? Especially when there are, like, in, natural disasters sometimes that happens, or man-made disasters. If you read about in the world where there was like no sunlight for like days, and how people start become sick, and this, we need the sunshine helps us to like stay healthy, and the rain, the natural system helps us, as well as other beings. So many beings help us to live, uh, every moment of this life, and to reflect on that, and then you realize, well, there's really no me here if it wasn't for all these other beings, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Gratitude is the like appreciation. Absolutely beautiful. I was also thinking about how the we live on the most pro life planet in the visible universe. So that's cool.
Absolutely, this Mother Earth is just an amazing place, and people, they don't, so few people don't appreciate it. What we see on the media is the few people that abuse it.
I don't know why that is so. I think that's well, I've also seen that in parenting. Like everything is taken for granted, but not a lot of appreciation for the things we have, and and there are so many good things, as you said.
Of course, absolutely. You know, this planet is an amazing ecosystem. It lets us live, and even Prince Siddhartha was born as a human being in order to become a Buddha, right? So a Buddha cannot be born anywhere else apart from planet Earth. A Buddha to be cannot be born anywhere else apart from planet Earth.
Mm.
But for someone to become enlightened, unless you're a anagami, you will have to be born on planet Earth before you can reach enlightenment. That is a fact. That is a truth. Yeah. So this planet is a it's a I don't know, it's a haven, a heaven, whatever you may call it. Um, we should be so grateful that we're here, born as human beings, and born as human beings who have the ability to practice this Dhamma and really, really gain results.
Absolutely.
So it's appreciating the wonders of nature and be, grateful, compassion, kind, just really nurture those. And going back again, repeating what I said before, every when you come through, when you hit a difficulty in your life, see, okay, what is it that I need to do now? This is teaching me something. And even in your daily practice, like our topic today, if you find that you cannot sit, do walking meditation, do reading, read a sutta, read something that's going to help you with your skills, or do something, do some gardening work. And as you garden, it will help you to practice awareness, be aware of what you're doing, practice gratitude, practice compassion as you're doing the gardening. Okay, so see anything you can apply to help you grow in your profitable skills. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I'm thinking about it.
Mm. So cultivating sati, awareness. Yeah. And sati sampajanya. So you go more inner, you really, really analyze the awareness. What is it that it's helping me? How is helping me? How is helping the outside world through this practice? So you're going more deeper with the practice of awareness. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And another thing you can kind of look at it is apply, your the challenges that you're having at this time in your life. So be grateful for the people around you for helping you grow.
Yes, I'm gonna contemplate that. But yes, obviously, conceptually, I understand it.
So you can see if this is, say, if somebody is giving you a really hard time, right? Say a lot of people have like colleagues at work who are really, what we call unpleasant colleagues. But then you can kind of say, okay, I'm grateful for your presence because you're helping me to be patient, you're helping me to be understanding, you're helping me to see from a different angle. Yeah.
So I think yes, I'm good. So I think yes. So we have to be evolved enough to really see it like that. So when somebody is challenging is coming, to have presence of mind to respond like kindly, as you said, like thank you for, even if it's somebody, thank you for giving me opportunity to practice compassion or kindness. Sometimes we don't think like that. Sometimes we are like, oh, this is not what we want, so which is obviously not ideal response.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very hard. But this is, from my own personal experience in life, that is what I have practiced, and if someone gave me a hard time, it didn't always happen, so it was a process. But as my, journey went, I just found, okay, there is no point me having like pushing this away. Okay, I'm grateful for this person for being horrible to me, for being abusive, or um, doing things in a certain way, or this happened, for me to like see, okay, it's human error. People, we're all human beings, right? We're not perfect. Everybody has their own uh, difficulties, challenges. Yeah,
No, absolutely.
yeah.
The
So
challenge is, I think, so. I think responding kindly is okay, but being grateful that they are like that, that's a challenge. So to even thank them that they are they're not kind is it's another level of practice, I think.
but it'll be a challenge to try to do it and see the results, because the
Yes.
results are
No, you're absolutely right. And I think while I was listening, my how would I say, my I had my feeling was that the more you practice, the better you get, as with everything, and that you have done obviously a lot of practice with responding with compassion, and it's a muscle, so it's to be practiced and then report the results. So I should put in the work.
definitely, it's like a muscle, absolutely. So slow training with kindness, right? And with time, like when you're building a muscle, if you do it properly, that muscle will be like, strong and strong for you for a long, long period of time. Whereas if you try to really pump the iron very quickly, it's like, no, I need to build up this muscle. It'll last for a short time, and it's very hard to keep it up. It's just going to start to, muscle wasting will happen a lot faster.
So, and I know we are a little bit over the time, and I don't want to deviate too much, but one of the things that may be interesting in the future is to have a compassion training, like maybe a 10 week, like, okay, so these are the exercises, let's something like training, developing a virtue. It doesn't have to be compassion, but it would be interesting. If,
It'll be good to try to have a retreat.
yes.
Yes, do like role play.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we're gonna we, we're gonna write something like on a piece of like little pieces of paper. We used to do this like a game. You write something on a piece of paper and you give, so randomly everybody gets this piece of, a certain piece of paper. You open it and it gives you, okay, you have to be an angry boss, you have to be a really arrogant salesperson, something like that.
Yes.
So whoever gets to be the receiver has to it's a good way for them to practice, patience, understanding, and so yeah, maybe we should do this on our retreat.
Yes. uh, Whoever is going to be the boss is going to be disturbed after that, maybe. Uh,
Yeah, well, everyone will chance to be receivers.
yes.
Any questions at all? Anything you're not clear on, or any feedback you'd like to give?
Uh, no, so I'm gonna recap. So we started the session at the beginning. So what to do when life comes, and there are periods when we don't meditate as much, and we think that we are bad meditators, and when we used to maybe meditate a little bit more. And your suggestion, I think, was okay. You have a routine. You have to have a discipline, and you start by making your bed. You when you work, you do the work, you do everything mindfully, and that will calm your mind. You take your precepts at the beginning of the day, and when life challenges happen, you you respond to them. You're grateful for the opportunity that may be hiding behind the challenges, and there is something you need to learn, and you can ask. So, what is my lesson here? What is that I'm ought to learn? And you try to, if somebody is down, you try, or you're seeing somebody is angry or sad or dying even, yeah, you give them positive. You give them appreciation through positive, making them remember the positive stuff they have done. And for yourself also, you have to take care of yourself, so that if you're not calm, then you can't bring that same calmness to others. So you have to take care of your house before you take care of everybody else. So it is a balance, and it is about wisdom, and you wisdom and yourself wisdom, and practice makes perfect. So that's how I understood it.
Excellent, excellent summary. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And always remember, especially when you are with elderly people, I mean, there's no time for us to go, right? The age is kind of like it's relative, people can leave us at any time. But important thing is, if someone is in your life who is not well, always remember to remind them of the good things they have done in their life, and to keep them happy as much as you can, because that will help them heal. It will help them get better. And if it is their time to go, at least at the moment they pass, their thought process will be much more calm level, much more gratitude, compassion, generosity within their thought process, which will then take them to more like a pleasant uh, new new start.
Yes, and one thing that I have observed when in those situations is that most of the people are very either pitying or worry themselves, and then try to comfort the other person. But when you have those feelings within you, you're not calm, so you're probably not actually comforting that person. So I think we have to start with ourselves, and then hopefully we're not at least my opinion now is that I can't influence the result, but that is going to increase the likelihood of him feeling, like you said, possibly a little bit better, although no guarantees, but we'll see.
Absolutely. So you can only be your best. I mean, you know you're cleaning your system, and you give that resonance to them as well, and try to help them. And then it is up to, obviously, up to them to have the wisdom to understand what you're trying to do, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
You can take the horse to water, but you can't make them drink it, right?
Yes.
There's a Yeah, yeah. But be compassionate. Whatever happens, be compassionate.
Hmm.
Oh, lovely. Anything else?
Nothing else. Thank you for taking your time, and I know that discussion part took much longer than dumb discussion, so I apologize for everybody listening, and thank you, and thank you everybody who is had the patience. So thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Alex. So I'll just do a quick blessing, and then we will finish our Dhamma talk today. Bhavatu Sabba Mangalang Rakhantu Sabba Devata Sabba Buddhanubhavena Sada Sati Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sabba Mangalang Rakhantu Sabba Devata Sabba Dhammanubhavena Sada Sati Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sabba Mangalang Rakhantu Sabba Devata Sabba Sanghanubhavena Sada Sati Bhavantu Te. So, Alex, thank you so much for coming to our Dhamma discussion today, and to Nemanye, who was with us and he had to leave a little bit early. So, blessings to both of you and all who are listening. May you all have health in your lives, peace in your heart, success in everything that you do with good intention, and have the courage and wisdom to practice this noble Dhamma path. And may all beings, your friends, relatives, colleagues, people living in your town and country, the world, other planets, and to the greater universe, may all living beings be well, be blessed, and people who are not well at this time, may these blessings help them to heal, to become wise, and may all beings reach enlightenment at some part of their journey. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Alex. So we will meet again next week.
Next week. It is.
Yes, lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bless you.
Bye bye.
See you soon. Bye bye.